Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are following us. This is the usual spotlight session at PAL Network, where I receive some of our PAL members to have a conversation around the organizations, the achievements, and challenges. And today we are very happy to receive Moitshepi Matsheng, the co-founder of Youth Impact, and we were very used to call them Young Love. So if I mix these two names during our conversation, please forgive me. The rebranding just happened and we are still getting used to the new name. So Moitshepi, welcome to this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amanda, for inviting us. Youth Impact is so excited to be spotlighted today, but also being a part of the PAL Network family. So thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm Moitshepi Matsheng, the co-founder and director of Youth Impact, which is an organization that we started based here in Botswana.
What inspired you to start this organization?
So we started, myself and my co-founder, Noam Engris, we started Youth Impact in the year 2013. And simultaneously, Noam shared that there was a paper that was, published in Kenya, which showed that the relative risk of older partners on young girls, and this class was delivered in Kenya, and it was with the main hope to share to these young girls that older partners are risky. And this, class that was done indeed reduced teenage pregnancy by 28%. However, though the results were positive, they were written and published on a paper, that class never was scaled or retested and picked it up. So seeing what happened, in Botswana and, exploring more of the sugar daddy phenomena that was, in front of our eyes, but also balancing it out that there is a solution that has worked, in another country that showed positive results. Why don't we actually do something about it? Seeing that, there is a challenge, particularly in Botswana, with the risk of HIV, but also the higher rates of HIV and AIDS in our country. And therefore, our whole mission is embodied in why we started. And our whole mission is, connecting youth to proven life-changing information. So we work in, as I mentioned, the field of health and education. That really is our main focus.
How was the move from health to education, and what informed that move?
Yeah, we have our advisory forum, which was chaired by then the former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Basic Education, Meg Grace Muzila. And her emphasis was that young love, you have worked very much, looking at programs that have evidence, that have shown to work in previous contexts. But again, you also have a proven track record of reaching a third of schools in the country. But now what we are looking for as the advisory forum and as the Ministry of Basic Education is a program that can be innovative, that can be cost effective, that can be able to really work and improve our learning outcomes. So that's hence why, the shift also to education, because it really was very much a government-led advice and guidance for us to be able to really see what we can do in the education space. And we, you could argue that Botswana has one of the most, beautiful schools in Southern Africa. We have high enrollment rates, over 98% of students are enrolled. So we knew that even though there were all these, great inputs, the learning outcomes themselves were not happening. So we embarked on this journey together with the Ministry of Basic Education to really find the need and what the reality was on the ground, and hence why we shifted to education, and hence why we have continued working in the space, because there is a real need that will need to intervene.
If you were to highlight, let's say 3-4 main achievements, both on the health component and the education, what will you share as the main achievements during these years of your existence?
The first achievement, or one of the first achievements, is that we have reached our 100,000 students reached mark, which really is exciting to say that as a young organization that started in 2014 with the main goal to be able to change health and education outcomes, we have served and touched lives of over 100,000 young people, which is a great milestone for us as an organization. Relatedly, we have also been able to work with the National Service Program, which really is young people that are not employed and usually are placed in schools or in clinics, and there's over 15,000 of them in the country, and we have been able to work with the National Service Program to be able to implement our health programs as well as in our education. And these are young people that have a lot of potential and often at times underutilized when they're working in schools. So we have been able to work with existing resources to be able to make a huge difference in the communities that we serve, so which is really, really exciting. We also have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Basic Education, which is a combination of an 8-year partnership to be able to reach to every school in the country.
We can't avoid touching upon the pandemic. Our interventions as a family have been affected by the pandemic in the last 2 or 3 years. I definitely would like to hear how it was with you in Botswana, how the pandemic affected your work, your life, but also how it inspired you to find alternative ways of dealing with that.
The past 2 years have been very difficult, and I'm sure, difficult for everyone in their different contexts. And so 3 days to schools closing, we collected phone numbers. We collected over 10,000 phone numbers from the different households that we were working with, and with the whole hope that we want to be able to still remain connected and in touch with the students and the communities that we work in for both our health and education programming. What was exciting is that we received, a 70% uptake of parents that really wanted to engage and in the program and the learning materials. So from there on, we had our phone mobile interventions where we sent weekly SMSs. For example, on the education side, it would look such that we are sending maths problems. So for example, 38 plus 17. So that was the initial, intervention where we sent maths problems, and then also from there had a weekly phone call follow-up. So which was really excited, to be able to support the students if they had any questions, but also if they had any problems that they were dealing with that they didn't really know how to solve. And we would ask, the parents to be on the phone call with the students, just so that they actually really know what we're sharing with them, but also what the student is learning. On our health side, we also had what we call more as sister or brother, calls where, we really reached out to the young girls and boys, with any questions that they had, with sharing with them, HIV prevalence rates by age, asking them to make a pledge, which really, what they wanted or what their dreams were for their futures, which was really, it turned out to be more of, as I said, like a sister and a brother support call. And so those have been, the exciting things about the pandemic response.
How do you describe parental involvement in education in Botswana?
So parental involvement has been absolutely crucial. It has been the driving force of our success in what we are doing as an organization. But another interesting thing is that often at times parents feel like they're not really involved in a child's learning, and often at times it's left to the teachers, right, and in the classroom. And I think this experience has taught us quite a lot, that parents are the main stakeholders. They play a key role in their child's learning, that often at times it's not actually left at the teachers and within classrooms. It can still even happen at home. So when we send in that maths problem, when they receive it on their phone, they can actually show the student that this is a problem that we receive from Youth Impact. Let's solve it together. So I think the nice thing about this experience is that learning can actually even happen at home. Parents are also even more involved in the child learning, and the research shows, right, that the more parents are involved, the more they're interested in their child's learning, the child's confidence level tends to increase, because they know either mommy or uncle is involved in and cares about my schoolwork. That they too feel very confident and very encouraged to be able to learn. So we think parental involvement is absolutely crucial in involving in taking the students to the next level, but it also, bringing this point across that learning can happen anywhere.
And changing names is a huge decision. We just want to go deep into the Young Love's youth impact story to see, when did you start thinking about this change of name and why?
I would say that Youth Impact is the name that really fully captures our mission. And it really does, bring out the core ingredients that we care about: youth and impact. And I would say this conversation, this thinking really began in as far back as 2016, 2017, when we now, shifted from one health program into now moving to education. And one of the things, on Young Love, it made sense for our health program, because we really wanted young people to love themselves, to prioritize themselves, to actually, have agency about, them making, safer relationship choices. So it was really branded around, one health, one health program, and hence the shift from Young Love to Youth Impact now, which is a name that captures broadly our two focus areas, with is health and education, but also again it fully captures our mission, and we care a lot about impact. We want to be able to deliver programs that have results, that have evidence, but also ensuring that we can be able to reach out to young people, hence youth. So it's a name that really, captures who we are. As one government official once said to us, it's become who you are. Though we have, changed our name, our mission, remains the same, which I think is also an important element to really bring out across. So we're really grateful for that. And we've got a really good reception. And thank you so much to you and the PAL network family, as well as all our stakeholders and donors and supporters who have really seen us through this change. We really feel supported and excited about our new name, Youth Impact.
Can you share with us your plans for the future? What's new in your approaches or in your plans, looking, let's say, in 2 or 3 years' time ahead?
Just to share, our main mission is to be able to reach 1 million in Africa and across the world, delivering evidence-based programming in health and education. This is our big main goal, so that we can ensure, a better world for young people, to enable them to thrive. We want to be able to reach at scale, in Botswana, reaching all primary and junior secondary schools in the country. We want to also work with partners and governments in various countries to be able to really push, the agenda to enable young people to thrive. Right now, currently, we have a team of 145 staff in Botswana and in different parts of the world. So really building, a diverse movement that is able to change the status quo of our education and health outcomes. So that's really very also important to us as an organization.
Maybe you could also share what inspires you, what keeps you moving, keeps you doing what you are doing and thinking to expand. What is it that inspires youth impact?
I'm inspired by knowing that change is actually possible, that we can actually work in different countries with the same tools and the same principles that you could see translated here in Botswana, in Mozambique, or in Kenya, but also, again, to really, I would say, drive towards, seeing young people thriving. One thing that I'm grateful for, we are grateful for as an organization, is being a part of the PAL Network family, where we can be able to share with each other, our best practices, our innovations, but also troubleshoot together, challenges, what's happening in Zizi Africa, where can we learn from you in terms of your literacy curriculum, but also how can we infuse it and adapt it to the Botswana-based, literacy curriculum. And being a part of these structures really is something that we're grateful for, because it actually does enable us to be better at our work, so that we can ensure that we can support students and young people in the best way that is possible.
Thank you very much, Moitshepi. Thank you for sharing your story and your dreams. And we are very happy to be part of this process, of this movement. Thank you very much for following us. And I wish you all the success as you move forward, Moitshepi.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.